somebody actually asked me to coffee.
Oh my God.
On Friday.
Fuck out of here. Oh, this Friday?
Yeah.
Wait, were you?
No, I was at the gym.
You shut the fuck up.
You got invited
Hang
on a
a
date?
second, bro.
No, just a coffee.
That's a date.
That's a date.
You got asked out on a
safe
date by a woman at the fucking gym this Friday.
Yeah, so I laughed only because, and I did say,
Are you kidding me?
It's impossible.
Is this a fucking joke?
Oh me, oh my.
Oh.
Welcome to Motherfunkler. Greetings to all our fellow funklers.
Like you just poked him in the butt or
You
something.
just changed it up a little bit there.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Please share our link with your tribe. Send us your reviews, comments, and questions. They are greatly appreciated. I am Atomic Chili Sauce. And with me, the Prince of Misery, Niklaus Sedul.
Nick Klaus. I love that now.
The angel on my shoulder, DJ Swizzlestick in the house.
Absolutely.
Let's see. As always, the intuitive muse is intuitively musing over there. And the Wizard of Ed, our hero and super producer, is grinding at the keyboard,
Rock and roll.
drinking a beer.
Oh, it's time. Let's get it started.
Yiggy
Cheers.
eggs.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Delicious.
I started smoking weed again.
Well, 420. Happy 420.
Not today, but maybe subconsciously it was based around today.
Yeah.
I've always smoked weed since I can kind of remember through high school, grade school, high school.
Yeah.
First time was at a Smashing Pumpkins concert.
First time ever?
Yeah.
Was that in Wichita?
Yeah.
God, you probably got some good shows run through Wichita.
It was during the Melancholy and Infinite Sadness tour.
Oh, so late 90s.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was great.
Rad.
Fell in love with it. And then, it's been on and off. A guy said, you want to get high for $5? And I said, sure.
You're like, you want to get rid of this infinite sadness that we're all experiencing?
Smoked just a little bit and it whammied me. And I thought I could walk it off like a buzz, like a beer buzz.
Oh, no.
And it was just
more philosophical
continuing.
than that.
Yeah. And I wasn't in the right place or time. I find it definitely therapeutic. A Smashing Pumpkins concert for your first time, for something, at least for me in my perspective, that is spiritual, shouldn't happen there.
Yeah.
Anyway, on and off throughout the years. Sometimes it calls to me, sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's apropos today to recognize.
We're recording on 420, which everybody knows is the police code for marijuana. So that's why 420 became that date. It's my father's anniversary today, unknowingly. I mean, knowingly, but not trying to. They got married on 420 many years ago. So happy anniversary to him, I guess. Otherwise, man, what you guys been up to? I've been chilling, working out, running. I know Big PR over there had a couple of runs. I'm
really enjoying the weather at the moment, so just making the best of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna get hot in the next few days.
Yeah,
I would say.
Pretty soon.
So
I'm imagining what PR looks like running right now.
I know I bet you it's so fun.
It's not a mad dash.
No. This is. How
many chicks try to pick you up when you're running?
I was also thinking.
I want. It really just. It hasn't happened for probably. I would say the better part of a few years, 2 or 3 years. But somebody actually asked me to coffee.
Oh my God!
On Friday.
Fuck out of here! Oh. This Friday?
Yeah. I laughed only because I said to myself, I'm going to have to say this.
Were you running? Were you at
No,
the gym?
I was at the gym.
You shut the fuck up.
You got invited
Hang
on a date?
a second, bro.
No, just a coffee.
That's a date.
That's a date.
You got asked out on a
safe
date by a woman at the fucking gym this Friday.
Yeah, so I laughed only because, and I did say,
Are you kidding me?
It's impossible.
Is this a fucking joke?
No. So here's the thing, right?
You're fucking joking. There's no way.
She, I would say that, look, I know she's been around in the gym for years, right? But I haven't seen in the gym for probably, a couple of years.
We're on the Richter scale.
Yeah, that's what
we're on the Richter scale. So let's say that I was working out, and every time you come up for a breath. No, I'm going to give you the answer. Every time you come up for a breath, like you do your set, and then you come up and you kind of just trying to compose yourself, and then somebody wearing a yellow top and a green tights. I kind of looked because it was so brightly dressed. Normally people are wearing black or white or kind of, and then I saw this color and I kind of looked and I thought, So instantly I thought she looked really good, just because she had a good figure on her. And so that is a natural attraction for me, somebody with a good figure.
Okay.
So anyway, sinewy, as you would.
Really?
Very
so
slim.
low on the Richter scale, I guess.
So I didn't pay any attention. Continued doing my workouts, and I would say that I would consider myself on the extreme end of antisocial in the gym. I prefer to just be in my zone, and then all of a sudden, that person with the brightly colored top and pants came up to me and said hi, and I was like, hi. And I haven't seen her.
Wait, but hang on. Are you laying on a bench?
I'm on a bench. Yeah. But
get the fuck. You're laying down, bench pressing, and some chick walks up to you and asks you out on a date. Yeah, but I just finished. I just put my. This is like a fucking 80s movie. This is bullshit.
Listen, this is embarrassing.
How much weight were you lifting?
40 on each side.
So plus the bar was 125.
That's.
Right?
I
think it's 40, and then I think the bar is 45. So I think that'd be 125.
That's pretty. Okay. That's pretty great.
Yeah,
that looks cool.
I mean,
it's not like I don't have the baby weight.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I started.
That's why I don't do bench press. Because it would look so fucking sad, like from a distance. I know I'm bettering myself, but my vanity won't allow me to lift it with these little baby weights.
I can tell you that there's very often that I go into the gym and I look at somebody that's walking towards the weights.
Little baby weights.
And I think to myself, you shouldn't be here. The guy's going to lift like nothing. And then he goes and he takes the big jobs,
Yeah.
25ers. And he puts like 2 there. I'm thinking, God, how do you do that? Anyways, I had just put the weight back on again. And then she said to me, hi. And I said, I then looked to see that brightly dressed person was actually somebody that I'd known, that was at the gym. And obviously the hours don't tally. So she's now, back early morning routine. And she said, we must go for coffee or something along those lines.
You go, I don't know if you heard me counting, but I just did over 1,000.
And I'm not quite sure what I said, but it kind of ended right there. That it was just whatever.
But you were like, "Fuck!" Now I have to go on
then
the
I
podcast
laughed.
and
I
admit.
laughed whilst I took the weights back. I laughed and I said to myself, this is going to be like unreal when I say this to you guys because I said it to you. It was almost like not being able to be specific. I said, it has happened. Mm-hmm. But then the good thing about Friday is that I could actually tell you that it really just happened. That's
and we've seen it. Oh, so it happened on Friday.
Yeah.
So it was after the hop. So okay, I was gonna say because if you held that in your back pocket for the pod, that's very impressive. That's good that that happened to you and you held it back so that you could discuss it with us on the podcast. That's rad. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't believe it at all, but I do think the story's funny.
It's hilarious.
There's always truth in every story.
I'm now going to have to
get the fuck out of here.
How much it's skewed.
How many dates?
How much it's skewed.
How many women that were low on the Richter? Any woman, but especially when low on the Richter scale, has ever come up to you at the gym and asked you on a fucking date at the gym? Never. Ed, never. Me, never. Now, of course, these two fine-looking gentlemen you would think would have one. And then there's PR, who claims that throughout his life, just so many women just can't get their hands off you at the gym. And now you've actually had a cold walk up and ask you out on a date.
No. She didn't ask me on a date. She said, hey, we must have coffee. Something along those lines.
Is she a professional from this area that needs to discuss insurance with you?
Maybe. But I think what happens is, and the intuitive muse has said this on more than one occasion. Every now and then when we exchange text messages, Uber drivers. Oh my gosh, Uber drivers love talking to me. And I put down specifically
Yeah,
that
me
no
too.
conversation,
Yeah.
no conversation, right? Set the air temperature very cold, conversations, no conversation.
It's your aura, dude.
Yeah, it's your
And
That's
aura.
how
that's
you
what
get
the
into the
intuitive
car.
news said.
And it's him making a mental block with the fact that as soon as he sat in that Uber, he fucking starts talking to them and
Uber-
instigates it.
Uber drivers never
Yeah.
talk to me.
I mean, they talk to me only the Wednesday after. It's like the ones that do Uber Black in Orlando. There's only so many of them, so I see them over and over. And Wednesday nights after trivia, of course, I'm drunk. So I'm talking about like the law. They're asking me legal questions. And then it's awkward because the next time they pick me up, I'm sober. And they're like, hey, man, how's the podcast going? How's jury consultation going?
What?
Yeah, don't worry. My kid's doing. I'm like, holy shit. I have no fucking idea who you are at all. And they have my pen, my ink pen, and they're like, yeah, I'll give you a call if I ever need it, in their visor and shit. I'm like, damn, that's proof that drunk trivia Nick's a lot cooler than regular Nick. Like,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, there's
My
no
goodness
question
me,
about
that's 180 degrees from the usual Nick.
yeah, there's no question about it, But I don't know. Jim, to me, so the one part of the bane of my existence right now, and some people some of our listeners may understand this. The downtown YMCA has changed their format around. So what used to be the tower, which was where all of the old people would go to do mobility exercises basically on machines, which is where I would go. They got rid of that, and it's now like a peck whaling fucking, any crunch anytime, whatever, like real gym where there's like slam down of barbells and grunts and manly fucking homoerotic moans and shit. So, that's kind of been the bane of my existence. I'm now slammed up in the front with everybody else trying to get just my mediocre workout done. I've been thinking about hitting back over at any time. Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about it. How is it over there nowadays?
I love it. Yeah, they replaced all their barbells. No, they replaced their dumbbells, some of the racks, all the benches.
How are the machines?
Same.
Yeah.
Maybe they added one or two in, which is fine.
How's
They
the
only-
population?
Well, when you go at 3 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I guess
it's-
that's not what I'm going to be doing.
Is there nobody there?
There's 2 or 3 fucking freaks in
Weirdos.
Yeah.
there. Vampire.
You're one of
looking-
them, by the way. To any outsiders, they're like, you're lumped right in there, Trev.
Yeah, but I don't think I look special. These people look special.
I mean, are they drooling from the mouth and limping? Or?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
So when you go into the gym, Trevor, do you go into your zone and you just kind of, you're not aware of your surrounding, or you constantly for that time?
Situational awareness 100% of the day. But and I know because I have to come to the barbershop and shuck and jive, which I love doing. It's legit. That's my quiet time. So I also know gift a gab over the years of going to the gym, just not to talk to anybody because I need to get in there, get it done. And the minute that I start talking conversations, like I have to cut one of our friends off pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
because I just like it chews up my time there. I need to get, and I'm already spending enough time. I need to get in and get out.
Well, let me ask you.
But I do situational awareness. I do like fucking with people at the gym. If somebody goes away from the other day, some guy left a treadmill for a while, but he left all the shit on the treadmill, so I moved his shit around.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were like somebody was working on a machine and they turned around to like look at their phones, so you'd switch the weight.
I did. I switched.
They'd sit down. It'd be like it would be more fun to go way light. So they sit down, they're all ready, and they're like, oh, and it goes, woo.
I'll grab. It's really hard to do plates because typically they're in between like their leg and the plate. But like the free weights, if somebody's got like a squat rack lined up, I'll go take some weights off.
I mean, and so the behavior that gets me, the reason why I'm out, like why it's driving me nuts, is it's so like ass slappy.
Yeah.
It's so like just dude bros sweating all over each other, like ass slap. Fucking here, I'll spot you, bro. Like, is that kind of is that how you like to party?
No, I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah,
I always have been. I do not understand So I take that back. There was one era in my life that I did get really, really big. I had a workout partner. The arrangement was that he was there to build my muscle. So there wasn't this camaraderie. It was like a job. And we got along very well. And same deal, went in and did not talk to anybody other than what we were doing with our exercises. Other than that, I sit and observe guys that come in now in pairs. I've only seen recently one pair of chicks that work out together. I'd say more often than not, females go in solo.
Squats.
and they're happy doing their solo thing. Yeah. Most of the time it's two fellers. It seems like they're wasting a lot of time dicking around. Like, ass slapping and stupid jokes and talking about sports and I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm highly against the ass slap.
Do you get ass slapped outside of the gym?
Yeah, yeah. There's one guy in specific that I'm pinpointing that loves to give a good ass slap. I've had many conversations with this gentleman about
please don't slap
my ass. It's like I'm not one of your chicks and it's disrespectful. I don't like that energy. It's very demeaning.
I mean, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, it should be no different than anybody else. Don't slap my ass. I mean, don't touch me. Don't, it should be kind of the same. I think the person, I think I know who you're talking about. I think the movie Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick made this person feel as though it's okay to give your buddy a homoerotic ass slap.
These buns are only for the intuitive muse. That's the only one that can touch these buns.
She's like, yeah. Thank you so much.
In a serious way, in a playful way. However, but
like all mine. Take a big old bite.
I got into so there are some people in my life that I guess I'm specifically addressing certain women that I do and don't like to touch me, and more specifically face stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's like, I have to be really comfortable and really okay with the other person's energy to let them touch me, generally speaking. But then if it's a face touch, it's very interesting.
Well, face touch, you're much more like, that's how you get acne, bro. You shouldn't ever be touching your face. Like nobody should be touching your face.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. That's some weird shit. But I do feel, I know what you're talking about. It's like some weird comfort level with different people that I have. Like, for example, some friends we have whose mother comes to trivia, her and I do a huge hug every single time.
Sure.
And like, I think her and my wife are the only two people that I like actually hug in life. And there's something about it where it feels like it's a good physical contact between me and this lady. But other than that, I agree with you. Like the face kissing or the total hugging, fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's a little much. But I can tell you, I think maybe people, like, I know we've expressed this before on the podcast. I have noticed that maybe it's a societal trend, but like at the Hop this last week, there's a lot less physical interaction, I think, going on. Like, it really feels like people are taking it to heart and not doing physical contact greetings as much anymore.
And remind me of the time frame here. Like, when did you notice?
On Thursday, it was something that I noticed. It's just very much not like hug dude bro scenario
week
as much as it has been in the past.
Huh.
Yeah. At least that's my notice.
Well, I think it's also the way you present yourself sometimes. I have said on the podcast that I'm not a big hugger. I actually don't see the benefit of it. I'm happy to be in people's presence.
DJ Delicate hugs.
And there are very few people that I think it's just your personal space, and so this idea of, meeting somebody that you hardly know and expecting to give a hug to. But certainly in that whole hug experience, though, there's never a touching of the face. I would say.
Yeah, I mean, touching the face is a step beyond. I think, and like, are you talking about like somebody comes up, it's like, oh, hey, like,
no,
how are they touching your face? Do you have a female friend who walks up and is like, hey, Trevor?
No, it's more like a
Prince greeting, like
not back of hands. It's more like like kind of a neck chin embrace.
That's intense.
Yeah,
that's intense.
Yeah, it's definitely encroaching on my.
Has this happened recently?
No, I'm doing my like since not boozing, I can project my energy pretty specifically to be like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
Did she ask you to coffee at the same time?
No.
Trying to establish.
So to dive a little deeper on that, there are certain people that go. I'm trying to figure out the energy. There's certain people that go for it that I'm like, ugh. And then there's certain people that do it. It's their intent, and I can tell when there's a parental, grandmotherly type of approach, or it's like a control mechanism, or like they're trying to control my energy, or they want some of my energy.
I don't know the examples but my knee-jerk reaction, just thinking of who I think you may be talking about, I don't know that it'd be control your energy as much as it's to satisfy their own problems with self-esteem.
Well, I've got a good example, and I was thinking about this a lot the other day. It's definitely about a specific person. Every time I change my hairstyle, this is a guy. Every time I change my hairstyle, he asks to touch my hair, and I definitely think that's a control. It's a attempt at dominance.
You want to hear a really gross fucking story
Hell
about
yeah.
that? I have a really good friend who is still a very good friend that had a personality quirk. So to give you background, when you're in college, you just kind of, whoever has a house is basically where everybody just lives and parties and stays. So at this house, there was always 8 to 9 dudes just rocking all the time. And his personality quirk is that we figured this out after a while of there's something in his fucking brain that when he jerks off, he sees somebody, he rubs their head like that.
Oh,
we fucking knew it, and so to test it, we would like fucking prove it, and over months we actually then I directed directly at him the question to see how he'd react, and it was totally, of course he's gonna lie, but it was of course a lie. Like you could tell by his body language, and I'm like, this guy fucking has to rub somebody's head when he's done jerking off.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a person. So
it's a fucking monkey thing.
I'm with you on the power control thing with rubbing somebody's head. Like that's a weird release. That's a weird thing that another. I mean, he's got a couple weird tics about him, but yeah, I can give some more tics that I don't think anybody would quite know. A more obscure one is that he is obsessed with the visors in your car. They have to be there. You can't remove them, but they can never be down. If they're ever down, it's a panic scenario where he has to flip them up if he's riding in your car. So, but you can't take them off. So including his own car, he has them, but they're never allowed to be put down. That's another personality quirk that this fucking maniac has.
Pet peeve 739
Is people with weird,
people that dick around with
with your visor?
With my visors.
See?
so here's the thing with
you have a fucking issue with visors too. I don't like them.
I have a thing with
everything. Everything needs to be in its place.
Well, I
Yes.
think he came from a place where at some point he saw a video of somebody who's fucking like decapitated, like scalped by one in an auto accident. And ever since then, he's like, I'm out. Like I can't.
I have a thing about things in its place. So when I use the visor. You know, if the sun coming in,
the sun's in, yeah.
I absolutely use the visor. And sometimes if I have a passenger and they've used the visor as well, when I switch the car off and when I'm getting off the thing, my thing is always to put the visors back. That's my only kind of
yesterday Amanda adjusted the passenger seat so that the visor would block the sun on our drive home, and so the seat's all like pushed up all forward, and I got in the car early this morning for the gym, and it bothered the piss out of me. So I got out and walked around and put the seat back so I could see like the mirror and Yeah. Oh, it was driving me nuts. And I kind of looked up. So the bedroom where Amanda was sleeping soundly like a little princess baby angel. I kind of looked up and was like, God damn it. So about having to adjust the seat.
So, I mean.
Yeah, but while I was adjusting it, I'm like,
oh, yeah, you got something.
I'm going to be late to the gym because I'm adjusting your seat.
Exactly. You shouldn't have been adjusting the seat.
It's
my seat.
There you go. Her seat.
Yeah.
He doesn't like that answer. Look at him. Oh man.
Are you ever the passenger in that car? You never, right?
There was one time when I overdrank and left a party, a very important party.
Yeah, very important, but you
and
were not
went to sleep
you
in
were
the
in
back.
the back.
Yeah.
You were not in the
yeah.
passenger seat though.
Yeah, no.
You were in the back
Oh
seat.
wow. That's funny. So I mean I could go on and on about weird personality quirks, but we had the hop this last week. It was
It
pretty
was a
rad.
really great turnout.
I thought it was awesome. It was a good turnout.
Great turnout, great weather again.
Yeah.
I think it was the last month that we would have fabulous weather.
I had 4 people that like I grew up kind of went to high school with that showed up to hang out and party. One of which is trying to kind of get involved. He owns a company that does like generator and lighting, like Sunbelt, like a competitor for Sunbelt. So he was there talking to people. Nasser, he was talking to him for a while. It was great. But I kind of took off early. Thursday night's usually date night. Then you guys end up at Imperial? Big Ed?
We did, yeah.
How'd that go?
Not a fan of the layout because it feels more like a restaurant as opposed to like a lounge. And I'm comparing it to Sanford Imperial and then Ivanhoe.
I think, by the way, I think somebody told me the Sanford one's closed now.
Yeah. It is
Oh,
close.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
it's
I
gone.
heard, yep.
Yeah. It's gone.
There's no hard liquor, right? I checked the bar. There's nothing.
Oh really?
It's-
He
yeah.
doesn't have a liquor license?
Maybe not yet,
Oh okay.
but it's a pass for me.
Oh really? All right.
Was there music or anything?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I was a little...
Well, obviously,
Spaced out.
Ed's got a fully informed opinion.
Can't
going
remember
on
all the
here.
details,
So
but I
you said
remember
can't
that I
remember
did
if
not
there was
like it.
live music. I mean, I've been excited about it. The owner's been coming to trivia here and there, and I've been able to bullshit with him. He seems like a pretty cool guy. I mean, he's a world traveling type dude, looking out for cool shit. You know, I mean, what kind of life is that? You go over and you're like walking around, you see an old church, you're like, I'm gonna buy those doors and take the doors back to Winter Park and sell them. So I don't know. I've been kind of excited about it. I think there is kind of a loss of good just bar like places where you can hang out at a bar on Park Ave. To be honest with you,
I don't think there really ever has been.
like any good ones.
Since I've been here on in Hannibal Square for a decade.
I mean,
there's
I
nothing over
agree
there.
with you. I'm hopeful for the places taking over PAT. Like I'm hopeful that
Samesies.
it's like they said that it may be just a steakhouse by those owners. I mean, they may come up with a concept or something, but if it is I hope if it's a steakhouse that they go really dark on the inside and that they focus on the bar like a Christner's bar.
Yeah.
Because I love the bar at Christner's. The bar at Christner's is fucking rad. So hoping for that. But I don't know. I was interested in seeing. I'm still interested in seeing what the Imperial has to offer. Hopefully they do get a liquor license because that beer wine shit ain't gonna work for me.
No.
Like that fucking
Yeah, they one of the partners that we know well, they're trying to finalize the liquor license. So there will be a liquor license. It's just taking a bit longer. But my sense is that Winter Park would prefer there to be fewer and fewer, if none, possibly, restaurants that have hard liquor.
Good food.
And so the idea is only beer and wine. That's kind of the discussions I've had with some people in the city has been that in the 90s, early 2000s, there were too many restaurants on Park Avenue that had hard liquor, and so they decided they want to clean that out. So the intention is to have no late night live music and that kind of thing. So that's so with Imperial, as I understand, the idea is to keep the music levels down to a certain level. The idea is also not to have a kind of stand-up bar where the entire place is a bar. So it will be a little different from what Washburn's has been or Imperial has been in the past, to kind of a restaurant style. I understand though that there's a private room at the back, and the music will be played a little toned down. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we should do
it sounds like
worth
a try.
A really great place to go after you go to the library.
Yes.
Or a church. You could go to church and then go hang out for
That does sound
a
lame.
sip of
good red wine.
Yeah, and then go home and
Everything's
go to bed.
cyclical. I mean, they may be fighting now to get rid of it, but it'll all come back.
I think it'll
Everything's
come
cyclical.
back. Yeah, he has a good tried and tested formula, and I think it'll work out eventually once they get all their permits and things.
Yeah. What you got?
Did anybody know there used to be a Fat Tuesdays on Park Ave?
I did not know that. Wow. Where was
and
it?
the Rollins kids freaking just.
I mean, that's a step beyond. So, I mean, Fat Tuesdays is the only one I knew of, other than the attractions, was at the bottom of Chillers. Was like a skewered Fat Tuesdays where they have all of the frozen drinks, and you could get like a Hurricane, like a 151 floater on it. Like, that's a bad idea. Like, it's just a bad idea. So, I mean, that's a step too far, I think. But I could see how at a time of economic uncertainty, a chain like that could have come in. Like, it was probably, I would guess, late 80s, early 90s when shit was starting to hurt. And the only thing that could really do stuff was chains. You saw the rise of chain places. That's since changed where nobody wants to go to chains anymore. And now the only things that are making it are actually chains that you don't know are chains. You know what I'm saying? Like, Prado is owned by a conglomerate. It is now, according to a publication that won't be named, the best Italian restaurant in Florida. So that is, but that's not just Prado, who it's a grandma and a grandpa own it. It's like it's part of a larger restaurant conglomerate. They just don't call it Chili's and have 5 Chili's that are exactly the same. They call it Prado, and then this other place and this other place that are all, yeah. So
Smart.
yeah, I mean, that's the only way to make restaurants work, is you have to have a bunch so that one of them can succeed where the other one's failing, and you can flex and still survive. At least to have one that's any good, because nobody wants to eat the same, out of the Cisco truck bullshit at every place that they go to, which is what you're going to get at most chain restaurants where you have to make a profit. But I think there's still room for a lot of cool places, and of course, Winter Park is going to follow the rule. Everything becomes more terrible. Like the rule of social entropy, in my opinion, everything doesn't get better. It starts great and then just slowly becomes more terrible until it dies. So if Park Avenue is starting to try to phase out liquor licenses, that is fucking lame.
I'm working on a new theory.
What you got?
White guys that date or marry first generation Asian chicks are closet homosexuals.
Okay.
You want to play on this?
I mean, I know a guy in my life who's married 2.
Is he gay?
He is definitely not gay, as far as I know. I mean, maybe he's sneaking around, but I mean, I've known him for fucking 25 years, and there's never been a whiff of anything like you have friends. I have multiple friends I've grown up with where if something were to happen, be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, you could see it coming. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably one of those guys for most of my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always cared about how I look. I put moisturizer on my hands this morning before I came here. But this guy, no, I don't like this guy. To me, it would be a total shock. Like, you never really know, I guess, but he's in his late 40s now, and I don't know.
What makes you have a theory like that?
Know a lot of guys that are like blatantly flamboyant, and I think it's potentially easy to have like a mail order bride, specifically from somewhere in Asia. That like,
so when you say first,
because they're subservient,
this is a misnomer. So when you said first generation Asian, what you mean is that they're a first generation American, like they're
what's the right
born and they're an immigrant. They were born and raised there. They were first generation American here now.
Yes.
So Asians that didn't come from America,
right?
Asians from Asia.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that makes a lot more sense.
They're happy to be here. They don't give a shit. Like, they'll do whatever they.
I mean, if I'm an Asian mail order bride, I'd prefer a fucking gay man to like some kind of power hungry human trafficker, which is usually the people who are ordering mail order brides. I would think, like, I think they'd get here and be like, oh, thank God he's gay. Thank God I don't have to do any of that gross shit, man. I get to just be his cook and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like a better life than being demeaned every day.
Do you know anybody?
No, but I'd like to ask the question. So I watched a show on Netflix last night called Safe, one of these thrillers, and The interesting thing is the police, the cop that was investigating these mysterious deaths and people. Her dad was killed, and the idea was that one of the cops was behind it. The killing of her father, who was also a cop. And the senior people in the police station eventually kind of admitted. They said, "Yeah, this happened," and it was. Anyways,
It sounds terrible.
No, it's not. It's not. They were protecting her, though.
I think PR
so the
watches
idea,
some terrible shit.
No,
I literally read an article yesterday. If you watch true crime before bed, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. No, no, that's not what the article said.
Did you read it too?
Yes. What it says is if you find comfort in falling asleep to true crime, you may be a psychopath.
Right.
I have found comfort in falling asleep to unsolved mysteries since I was a small child.
yeah.
So maybe
You are the
I am a
prince of
psychopath.
misery.
I mean, maybe.
I enjoy those kind of true crime shows, anyways. But here's where we're at. And I want to. This is where I'm going to with the question. Right? Is they were protecting the cop, the girl, the daughter of the dad that was
I'm
killed.
confused.
But here's the thing: is that they were protecting her because he had another relationship, right? And so for 30 years, whilst he had, he was married and had his daughter, who was an up and coming police officer. The guy had a relationship with somebody else, and eventually he said, "No, we want to protect you." Eventually, she says, "Look, you got to tell me." And then they say, "Okay, the only thing we can tell you is that the name is Parker." So she then goes and investigates, and eventually she knocks at the door of Parker's home. This person that's had this long-standing relationship, and Parker,
what's better than true crime radio?
Listening to PR.
Listen to PR talk about a true crime.
No, but Parker opens the door, right? And who's Parker?
A man?
Parker's a man.
Yeah.
And I'm
saw
like,
that coming.
no. So here's the thing, right? So I was actually relieved in a funny way
Are you fucking kidding me, man?
that the dad was messing around, had a relationship, and he was actually married. But is that fair? Am I being like that? I would have been upset.
This sounds like you're questioning your own shit
Yeah.
going on in your head right now is what it sounds
Well,
like
I'm
to
saying
me.
that I was asking myself the question immediately. I would have been offended if it was a beautiful woman that he was with for the last 30 years whilst married to another woman. But I felt almost pity that he was gay and trying to have an extramarital
Well, let's not be
relationship
Debbie
with the guy.
Downers. The reason I think you have that feeling is because that created an unfair scenario, theoretically, for everybody involved. He wanted to be with a man. Societal norms and his family wouldn't allow him to be with a man. So instead of fucking just being with a man and being happy, cutting it loose from his wife, letting her be happy, he perpetrated a lie for the whole fucking time, hurting his boyfriend, him, the wife, and the kid.
Yeah.
That's why I think you felt sad and pity. But
yeah.
let's bring everybody fucking down, man. That's what we should do on our podcast.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it was that was I was trying to think, was I being terribly biased? That was kind of where I was at. I didn't process it the way you did. I processed it was I was actually relieved in a way, and now that you've said it the way you do, I think, yeah, okay, that's why I felt pity on him.
I think so.
I was like, oh my god,
not pity for him. He made a terrible decision because he was forced to. You feel pity for everybody else in the scenario too. They all had to fucking
I don't know
live
if
this
that's
hell.
force.
Like
He forced himself.
Culture. But not forced, dude.
Heavily influenced.
Nobody put a gun to his head,
Right.
but he made conscious decisions along the way that because of these external forces, it's easier for him to just hide his boyfriend on the side when, in fact, being with the boyfriend would have made everybody else happier long term. It would have sucked to tell the wife 30 years ago, but if you tell the wife now and you had those 30 years, I bet you she'd be like, yeah, I wish you would have just told me. It would have been a fucking nightmare for 6 months. I'd have to answer to everybody. It was the 90s when this shit wasn't falling off trees like it is now. It's not everywhere. It would have been a big deal. But after a year, it would have been fine. We would have moved on with our lives. But I that's why I think you felt pity, because it's a pitiable situation. Like, it's something where nobody ends up well. Like, the guy who made the bad decision, the bad guy in this story, still is pitiable. Like, it sucks. Like, he's the bad guy, but it doesn't mean his life was awesome. He wasn't like, ooh, I get to have it all. He was living a nightmare as well.
Yeah.
That's just my call. Agree? Disagree?
My brain went off to
Fair.
another place.
I got it. Where to go?
I was thinking about bowling and stupid mechanisms during bowling.
Like what?
Like, so if you go bowling with a group,
Like, do you use the gutter
like bowling,
protectors?
like no,
The
but like
bumpers?
bowling etiquette or whatever. So like every time I've gone bowling with people, there's always this like mandatory clap after somebody gets done throwing their first ball. And then as their turns repeat, the clap gets like
Less?
shittier and shittier and softer
Unless
and softer.
it's a strike.
But nobody just wants. It's like you feel the need to clap before, which is condescending. Like, oh, you did a good job
Yeah.
at bowling. Woo.
Well, I mean, we all suck at bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so like, at what point is it okay to stop clapping after everybody's fucking turn?
I mean, I feel like I don't clap after the first one. The only time I ever clap is when somebody gets a strike or
Yeah.
a good spare. Then I clap because I'm like, that person, that's a fucking rad shot they just did. I'm going to clap.
So
for it.
like, there shouldn't be knucks every time after every fucking turn. It should only be like after a strike or a spare.
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
mean,
we're establishing bowling etiquette rules.
the only other time I make any noise is like if it's my brother, I like to scream in his backswing to, like fuck him up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have fun doing that. That's
Is it
part
in
of bowling.
when you go bowling? How often do you go bowling, by the way?
Once a year, maybe.
Do you pay attention to the lanes next to you? Do you know it's etiquette to like
Of course.
not? Okay.
Oh yeah, dude. Listen, we could have, and we should have at some point, a podcast on situational awareness. First, I will sound never as condescending as I do when we talk about situational awareness because everybody thinks they have it. Fucking nobody has it. And
I don't have situational awareness.
I have a feeling that all of us have an inflated idea of situational awareness. That although you may have a level of it, you think you're more.
I thought we hung out.
I
because
think.
we both had
I know.
situational
We
awareness.
both have equal. Like me and you have looked at each other at a bar before and been like, "It's time to fucking go." Like you could feel the tide turn where there's about to be a fight, or when it's fucking bad news and it's time to fucking leave. That is situational awareness, and yes, you have a rare high level of it. But
Good, I thought,
most people,
for a second, I thought we weren't friends.
no,
anymore.
most people walk up to start bowling and don't notice shit like. I need to fucking be waiting for both of these two lanes that are next to me to be done before I fucking bowl. But anyway, I digress. Yes, to answer your question, that's situational awareness. That's an automatic.
Yeah.
And also, I'm terrible at bowling, so I don't presuppose anything. Like I'm going to get up and fucking throw it and get back to my drink.
Exactly. That's my bowling. I'm actually there for the drink.
Yes.
I must say that with my bowling, I try really hard. I would really like to be a good bowler. And the more I try though, the worse I get. So when I finish, it's like, I just can't believe it. Like the worst person that started off at the end, I'm worse than that worst person. I've gotten progressively bad.
But how many chicks have asked you out on a date while you're bowling?
None, zero, but
Zero?
Zero. But
so the theory on this is the better you are at whatever activity you're participating in, the less chance you have of being
Asked out on a
asked.
date?
Yeah.
I mean, that can't be right because so then you're also saying the worse you are, the higher the likelihood that you're going to be asked out on a date.
Correct.
I mean, I've never been
I'm just
asked on a date
exploring
on
this.
any of these things, and I'm fucking terrible at all of them. So I don't know that fits.
Okay.
I mean, I've never been asked out on a date while I was fucking bowling neither. But a bowling alley doesn't strike me as like a meat market.
No.
So
Well, I mean, it's it's a pretty big.
I guess it's a sausage market
Yeah.
if you want some of that. Or some homoerotic
Well,
ass
it's-
slaps. That
yeah.
seems like the kind of
Yeah,
you
place.
don't end
perfect
up going
place.
to different lanes and start socializing. It's generally you and your team on the one lane, and you kind of just
And then everybody goes to the bar to socialize.
Yeah.
At the bowling bar.
The most recent thing, I was at Primrose, and it was a larger party with a birthday and different people from different groups joined us. And basically, the bowling was just like barely bowling. We were all sitting up at the top of the lanes having drinks, and it'd be like, Nick, it's your turn. And I'd go bowl and then come back to the party.
The Wizard of Ed and I snuck into a Loma Bowl one time when they had a private party, and we bowling crashed. We walked around. We were hammered.
Really?
We were walking around talking to all the different lanes.
I love it. That's fucking
Social
great.
awareness.
Yeah.
Well, we were stirring the shit pot.
Yeah,
Situational
exactly.
awareness.
Situation.
Yeah, we were having a good time, breaking the rules.
I love it. I love it. So that's where your thought process was to bowling.
Yeah. I went bowling recently, and I'm, just hyper analyzing all the experience and how it made me feel. There were like knuckles and high fives for everybody after every fucking shot. And I think if you have a bad shot, you should be shunned a little bit. I think you'd be like, better luck next time. But the entire the whole
suck.
The whole everybody gets a trophy every fucking turn. It was by the end. I'm
according to Trevor, he's
exhausted.
bowling with his family. It's like his fucking great aunt is bowling, and she bowls it too, and he's like, "You suck."
I mean, for as much celebration, there should also it be an equal reciprocation of of misery.
Yeah. Oh man, societal expectations at the bowling alley.
Oh,
I like it. Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about some stuff going on, the ephemera, so in not so much true crime, but on television shows, there's this need to fucking know what has happened to the characters after. There has to be this fan fiction. There has to be this furtherance of the story every single time. And I feel like that wasn't the way in the fucking 80s. I feel like the 80s, it was we're done. The movie ended, it's fucking over. Some movies, you would get the postscript and even some music videos. Do you remember the Hot for Teacher music video?
no.
Van Halen?
Yeah, I know the song.
So the Hot for Teacher music videos has these nerds going to a strip club, and they realize their teacher's the stripper.
Love it.
And at the end, they're like, Jimmy went on to be an engineer, and they fucking what I'm saying? That kind of shit. We don't get much of that anymore, and I think it's because of the lame shit that everybody makes a show in the hope that the show goes on fucking forever. It never stops. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of miss that. So I don't know. I wanted to bring up kind of the ephemera of character, the ephemera of friends, and how I like the idea that you can have a friend or a character in a show that serves the purpose for you right then, and that maybe going back to that character or going back to that friend only makes it fucking sad. Because I
tap out of because of my experience in entertainment and just my pastime of being obsessed with movies. I can tell in an instant when I'm agreeing with you on this, that I can tell in an instant where they're just going to fucking drag this out and make $1. Yeah. I love the idea of one and done, and getting it knocked out and then leaving it. Fuck, man. The other day, did you get that post that I sent you that they're bringing Goonies back? Yeah. And they're bringing, what was the other one? It's 2 movies, and it's just fucking let them be, man.
That, and that's a perfect point. Goonies is a great example.
Goonies and Gremlins.
So Gremlins could be fun where it's they're just it's just Gizmo and the Gremlins that can live forever, and it's a totally different cast around them where weird hijinks ensue. That's more like a disaster movie. That's here was an earthquake and all this shit happened around the earthquake. Here's another earthquake with a bunch of different people and different characters, different whatever. As opposed to what I'm talking about, which is the movie PCU. The character of Draws, played by Jeremy Piven. Yeah. I don't want to see a sequel of what Draws is doing now, because it was fucking rad then. What he was doing when he was an elderly college guy, his life now is probably fucking boring and terrible. Yeah. The Goonies, when they were kids running around fucking busting shit up, was cool. Now they're Data's going to be some rich tech billionaire.
They're going to fucking I have no idea what the premise is. They're going to do it like Ghostbusters and hand it off to the new generation of kids, and it's going to be fucking lame. Gender neutral and fucking.
Well, I mean, that aside, I'm just saying, I don't care. These characters fit a niche for me at the time. Like, they're bringing back a show I watched a lot, Scrubs. I really was a big part of my life for a while. When I was in law school, I had a direct feeling character toward the characters because they were young in fellowship, going through like they were already doctors, but they were still young. It felt very similar to me. But the main doctor, played by Zach Braff, JD, I don't think his character would in any way relate to me now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't want to see it. So that I can translate into real life. Like, there have been people in my life. I can think of one that was one of my closest friends for a long time. And we were super close. We had a lot in common. We were going through the same shit. And now I don't think we have fucking anything in common other than that previous time. And although it will be fun to sit down, just hang out and have a beer, I don't think it's in either one of our best interests, at all, to rekindle and maintain some friendship.
I went to my 20-year high school reunion, and it was fucking, I don't know.
I mean, I think there are people from my high school and separately from college and separately from law school and then at state attorney, like every phase of my life, that we still have a lot in common and we can still be friends. But there's also a value to the ephemera friend who's there for a certain period of time. It's rad. And then it's just time to fucking not be friends anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I like the idea. I think that it's something that, along with shows, where they should think about it, stop, and that's it, as opposed to just keep milking it for every dollar they can get.
Couldn't agree more.
I think by doing that, you're cheapening the short period of time that it was awesome. This doesn't sound like something that would relate to you, PR.
I mean,
I feel like when you have a friend, you make a friend for life.
Breath.
No, when I grew up in the watching television and these shows, I would certainly have, when I was in my teens, I would certainly have an interest as to how those individuals evolved. So I can think about, for example, shows like Dallas and
How did I fucking know you were going to bring up goddamn Dallas?
That should be part of we should make a running tab of the PR shot game.
Well,
Anytime Christmas Town comes in,
Christmas Town,
Dallas now. Now it's going to be Dallas.
Yeah.
But I think
Strip clubs.
the entire world had an interest in
Dallas.
as to what was JR doing, or Bobby, or the names, whatever, what did they do? How did they evolve? I think what we have now, though, is because we have so much of choice, just in terms of Netflix and all the other stuff on demand. We almost lose that kind of you got to wait the week for the next version of it. And I'm thinking about something like Suits. When you mentioned Scrubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually binge watch Suits, for months.
Mm-hmm.
But what I haven't done is they've now launched the Suits LA. So the same guy, is now in LA, and it hasn't grabbed me. So I don't really care about his evolution.
I now automatically discount people when they tell me they're watching a series and recommend it to me.
I mean, I've always done that.
It's
rough for me when somebody tells me I gotta watch it. I'm like, no, I don't.
In the last 6 months, I've become completely uninterested in most of the shit that's on Netflix.
I mean, I don't watch much. I watch all old shit. I still recycle through Family Guy. We're working through Elementary still, that went off the air fucking 8 years ago. So that's kind of what I do.
So
I agree.
the interesting thing
I did watch Bad Monkey though.
I'm learning rad. Instead of watching shit, I'm learning how to play an instrument.
I mean, that's a way more constructive use of your time. And that's why I watch this old shit. So when I watch old Family Guy, whatever, I'm watching that to get emotional ease. It's cathartic.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, watching new television would be, instead of that, I'm doing some other shit that I need to do.
Yeah. Talking about the instrument, though, I have very seldom do I think about regrets because, I don't regret much in my life. But
today, the tables have turned and we've got dark and moody over here,
I know,
and
right?
Fucking sunshine on this side.
I mean, I don't know if anything I've said has been fucking sunshine and rainbows.
But here's the thing: is that at the last podcast that we did, after the podcast, a couple of us were chatting about the fact that one of my kind of deepest regrets is that when I was in junior school in the 80s, playing a musical instrument was not seen to be a cool thing to do.
Wait, but watching Dallas was.
Everyone did. But and I wish
Yeah.
I'd taken the fact that
Some of your Dallas airtime and played a piano instead.
well, I just feel one of my, and I don't think about it terribly, but every now and then
Well, you
it's
were a
something I
DJ.
reflect
That's
on.
kind of a musical
Yeah, I
instrument.
enjoyed that. But so I can say that I'm so glad that I was I swam competitively, I played tennis competitively. So I did a lot of those things. But one of the things that I felt that I should have done and regret that I didn't is learn how to play a musical instrument. And after last week's podcast, when you told me that your wife is learning how to play the piano,
That's to me, Nick.
that's to you, Nick. I said to myself, I am going to learn how to play an instrument. So what I can say is that I haven't determined what instrument it's going to be.
Jazz flute.
Intuitively, I'm thinking it's going to be a guitar because I think it's one of those things you can just take to a party. You don't have to.
Don't be
it's
that
not
guy.
God, don't be that fucking guy, bro.
I know.
Come on.
I know one of those guys
Don't
that always
be
picks
that
up the
fucking
fucking
guy.
acoustic guitar
Oh,
at parties,
my
and
God.
it's not cool.
And I
Here's
just-
a little ditty. I wrote,
It's
and
not.
the story behind each song is longer than the song he's about to play.
And you're
for
going to
you.
play Wonderwall by Oasis
Yeah.
and the Sweater Song by Weezer and all the what are the other ones that got all the girls at the end of the night?
Oh my God.
Please don't be that guy.
I'm gonna have to consult with my circle, and then work out, and then I will give you guys the progress report on
Glockenspiel.
the. My eldest son, played the cello when
That's
he was
pretty
at
cool.
school,
That's rad.
and that was pretty hectic, man. Because it's one of those things that I think it takes forever to learn, and I don't think the celloist has a whole big role to play like a whole song.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just make like one or two moves,
Yeah.
and that's
It's like the big drum in the back.
yeah. It doesn't. You don't really do much.
Like not actual, like a drum set, but the two big drums.
Yeah, the two
you know?
big drums. You just kind of, it's just like an echo somewhere.
Yeah.
So he then decided to move to the violin, which became a little bit more active.
Violin solos.
But piano is up there as one of the things that I'd
Sweet.
like to learn.
I
was supposed to.
I would like to weigh in and
Yeah.
say go piano, because then piano can transpose to any other
Oh,
instrument.
100%.
So if you learn piano, then you can write.
If
for
I
all
ever
the other
learn,
instruments.
piano's the one, because the piano will give you a bass line.
A guy I
a
knew
lot of
growing
other
up in the first band that I was in, knew how to play piano, was forced to play piano, got in a bicycle wreck, broke his jaw, had his jaw wired shut for a summer, and easily picked up the guitar in like 2 or 3 months.
What made you choose the drum?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I was at a school function, like an assembly, and some guys in my grade did a bunch of covers of Green Day songs, but rewrote the lyrics so that they were topical for our school. And I saw all the chicks in my class go fucking head over heels for the drummer. So it honestly, it was like, at first it was
Good
ego and like cool factor. And then it turned into a passion.
Well,
Like now I just like to play and
yeah.
be creative.
I mean,
it
I
has
think
nothing to do with being
Do
cool
you think
anymore.
the chicks are actually looking at who's the drummer though?
If it's me, absolutely.
There you go. Rock and roll, man.
Yeah, my sister played the drums when she was at high school.
Yeah,
Cool.
That we'll save that story for
I
another
mean,
time.
yeah, we got a lot to talk about there.
What? How old's your sister?
Well, no, she's 2 years younger than me, but I think she was doing it only because it was counterintuitive. It
Yeah.
was kind of at school. It was the guy thing to do is to play the drums, right? The girls played the piano.
Let's get a rate on. Where is she on the Richter scale? All right. I've said enough. Thank you for listening, DJ Young and the Restless over here.
Yeah, there you go.
And the Prince of Misery are always with me. Thank you guys. Let's see. Special thanks as always to the Wizard of Ed and the intuitively intuitive Muse. Let's see. Please hit like and subscribe. Tell your folks. Tell your kids.
Rock and roll, man. See you in the promised land.
You're rushing me out of here.
Yeah, I got
See you in the gym.
$400 sushi making class in 12 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.